Hey, Stewart's Chapel, this is Brother Don Pierson, and Don Counts is behind the camera. We're at the church's office, and we're actually at my desk. And we finished what it looked like to walk worthy of the Lord. Not that doesn't mean that I am done walking worthy. It's just that that particular devotion series is over, and I want to move in another direction on a subject that is dear to my heart. And this will take a few weeks as well. And it's about the Word. The Word. And so we're going to start in John chapter 1, verse 1 through 5, and then verse 14. The Word. And so the first thing we're talking about is the Word God. The Word God. Not the Word God, but God as the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through Him, and without Him nothing was made that was made. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. Verse 14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Let me read verse 1 again. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. For a brand new Christian, when they first start and they encounter the Gospel of John, and a lot of pastors will encourage new believers to start with the Gospel of John. That's not generally where I encourage people to start. I usually refer them to Luke. The main reason I avoid them going into John, and John is, there's a lot of theological truths and words that are used that are foreign to someone who hasn't been raised up in church, especially an adult who hasn't been raised up in church. When they encounter the very first verse, it's confusing. You see, the Gospel of John, it doesn't start like the rest of the Gospels. It doesn't start with the Christmas story or with a genealogy or with any of that. It goes way, way, way back. It goes back to the beginning, and not just the beginning of earth or even of heavens. It is the beginning of everything. In other words, from the very, very first, when there was nothing else, there was God, and that God was the Word. Now, that doesn't mean that there was some thought floating around. No, God was flesh. God, the living God. He was God, the Creator. The Word is the Creator. If in the first few verses, you and I would not know it was Jesus until we get to verse 14. And then it says, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. That is when it begins for man. That is when God became man. The only begotten of the Father, full of grace and full of truth. The Word. What a way to start a gospel. What a way to start the story or the journey of Jesus. And he skips all the Christian Christmas stories and he goes right to the Alpha and the Omega. God, man. Fully God, fully man. Incredible. The whole idea is incredible. For someone who's not raised in church, that whole idea just blows the mind. It's unbelievable for most. And it seems impossible. But that is our God. And when you really, really think about it, our God is so incredible. He is so awesome. He is beyond anything that man can grasp. And He is the God who makes all things possible. Even His coming to us. The whole idea that the Creator, who always has been and always will be, would care for something that is nothing but dust, flesh, something that lives most of its life either ignoring God or fighting against God. And that God would desire to come. That is the first introduction to the Word that is God. In the beginning, before all things, was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word became flesh and came and lived, dwelt among us. Love you, Stewart's Chapel.